Hey everybody, this is Will Middleton from LifterLMS. Thanks for joining me in this tutorial. We're going to be talking about how you can build a website with LifterLMS, the new Sky Pilot theme, and WooCommerce on the same website so you can sell physical products and digital products through your WooCommerce store, connect that to LifterLMS, and style everything up with Sky Pilot. Sky Pilot uses the full site editing framework where you can edit your header, your footer, and certain templates in blocks. Just like you can edit pages, posts, courses, and lessons in blocks, now you can edit some fundamental parts of your theme with WordPress blocks, and I'm going to be demonstrating all kinds of ins and outs of how the full site editor works in LifterLMS Sky Pilot in this tutorial. This is a great masterclass on how LifterLMS Sky Pilot works alongside WooCommerce to style things up and also alongside Lifter. So stick around and we'll jump into the tutorial. Alright, so now we're in the back end of a fresh WordPress website, and to pull up my notes, I'll go through a little bit of what we're going to set up in this tutorial. So we installed WordPress, we're on a fresh WordPress install right now, and we're going to first install the Sky Pilot theme from LifterLMS, which is the main reason we're creating this tutorial, is to showcase the new and powerful full site editing theme from LifterLMS. We're going to install that, and then we're going to create some key pages like contact page and home page that most websites are going to need, and then we'll show a little bit about customizing the navigation menu and then creating a contact form as well. And then later we'll get into installing LifterLMS and then getting people enrolled into your course by adding WooCommerce and setting up a payment gateway for a shop setup so people can pay us, we can receive the money, and then they enroll in our course. And so in this tutorial we're going to be using, as far as paid products go, the LifterLMS WooCommerce integration. That's an integration you can find on the LifterLMS website, and then also the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme. Those are the only two paid products we're going to be using in this tutorial. We're also going to be using the free LifterLMS plugin, the free WooCommerce plugin, the free WS form plugin to create a contact form, and then the free WooCommerce Stripe payment gateway. So those are the tools we're going to be using. Let's get into it. The first thing we'll do is check out what the front end of our WordPress website looks like. Just a blank WordPress website using the 2023 theme. And the first thing I'm going to do is get the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme. So on the LifterLMS website, I already have an Infinity bundle, so I'm going to go ahead to my account and download the Sky Pilot theme. If I head to my account, I'm going to copy my license key. We're going to copy my license key, then jump to the back end of my WordPress website, and I'm going to go ahead and install the LifterLMS plugin. The LifterLMS plugin has a built-in feature where we can install our license key and then add any paid products we have access to directly from the back end of our website. So I'm going to go ahead and install the plugin, and even though we're not going to talk about courses and memberships yet, we will a little bit in the future, and this is going to let me add my license key. So we have a welcome to LifterLMS screen. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to go through the setup wizard here, save and continue. It's going to create me a couple of pages that will become relevant later. I'm going to save and continue. We're just going to use US dollars. I'm going to get a coupon and allow tracking there. And then it's going to offer for me to install some courses, and I'm just going to exit the setup. We'll come back to some courses a little bit later. The main area I want to go to now, though, is LifterLMS add-ons and more. That's where my license key is going to go. My license keys, I'm going to paste in my license key, click Add New. It's going to reload the page. There it goes, and it says my license key has been saved. Let me reload the page again there. And so now that my license key is saved, I can add any of the products I have access to. And like I mentioned, I have an Infinity bundle from LifterLMS, and so that gives me access to all the add-ons, but we're only really going to be using the Sky Pilot theme right now. So I'm going to click Install on the Sky Pilot theme, Apply. And in the background, what this is doing is it's adding the theme to my Appearance Themes area. You can download a zip file for a theme and then upload it under Appearance Themes Add New, but this is a shortcut that makes it a little bit more efficient. I'm going to go ahead and activate, but I could also go to Appearance Themes and activate as well. Since Sky Pilot's now going to be in my themes, we'll just click Activate, and there we go. So now my active theme is Lifter Sky Pilot. Let me reload the front end of my website. Should look a little bit different. It doesn't look too different yet, but there are a few differences in just activating the theme. And one of the first differences I want to highlight is how we would edit our header and our footer and some of the general items we're used to editing in a theme. If you're new to WordPress and this is one of your first tutorials, then welcome to the community. This is going to be how future themes work with this full site editing framework. But if you've been in WordPress for a few years, this full site editing option up here at the top where it says Edit Site is going to be a little bit new, a little bit of a newer interface to work with. So we can click Edit Site up here at the top, or we could get to the same area on the back end of WordPress by going to the dashboard and going to Appearance Editor. Either way will take us to the same place. And once this loads in, what we're taking a look at here is we have a design area, and then we have templates and template parts. And the full site editing technology is pretty new, so this is subject to change in the future. It might look a little bit different. There might be some differently named items here. They might be called patterns, but basically we have our templates, which would be like a 404 page. We've seen this on a website. If you visit a URL that doesn't exist, let me go in my other tab and then go to ASDF. That's not a page that exists. So this is my 404 template. It says page not found. So if I wanted to edit what that looks like in the full site editor, I would go to my 404 page. It says page not found. And then I would click over here in the middle. There's a little tutorial pop-up that says, hey, if you're new to the block editor, you could take a little tutorial, but I can click the edit button or just click over here in the middle and it takes me to where I can edit this. We can say page not found, sorry. Maybe I want to customize this or add a funny image or something like that. I can do that, and then when people view a 404 page, it's going to use that template. And so that's a pretty simple item there if we go to templates for 404, but we also have other templates for items like an archive. If you have an archive like a blog post archive, which is a list of your blog posts, you could have a WooCommerce product archive, which is a list of the products on your website, multiple different types of archives. We're not going to talk about that too much in this tutorial, but then we have a few that are relevant. And let me go back to my other tab here and show you where some of these templates come into play, so I can go back and forth and you can see how this is coming together. So let me edit this sample page that WordPress installs out of the box. Welcome to the block editor. You can close that out. So what I want to highlight here is that on a WordPress page in the right corner, we have template and it says page is the template. So let me jump back to my other tab, and under my templates, let me try to find page. Okay, so there's the page template, and that's the template that this page is using. And so if I were to edit this, let me go ahead and edit the page template. I'm going to click on the list view option up here at the top, and that's going to show me what's going on here in the template. Let me just expand some of these little options so we can see how this is coming together. I'm going to open up as many of these as I can. We have the post title, and then we have the post content. So here in a group, we can see I have a couple of groups which are ways of just nesting certain items. We have the post title and post content. As I hover over the items on the left, we can see on the right what it's referring to. And the reason you might want to use a group to wrap around an item, I guess, like a group itself isn't much of a block. It's a way to group other blocks together. And the nice thing about a group, if you're familiar with the WordPress editor, is when I open the settings for the group, I can see I can define width of content within that group. So if you wanted the post title to be like a certain amount of pixels wide, like 100 pixels wide, but you wanted the rest of the content to be wider, you could do that. You wouldn't want 100 pixels. You'd probably want more like 500 pixels. So this one's going to be 500 pixels wide, and then the post content is going to be, since the post content is in this group, it's going to be however wide that group is. So we could say inner blocks use content width, and this one maybe is 900. So this one's going to be 500 and this one's going to be 900. So we could use groups in some complicated ways to do that. In most cases, you're not going to need to worry about groups and how they work, but sometimes you'll notice that certain blocks are nested within groups. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but basically what I want to highlight is how this is a page template that's being used on this page, and probably some of my other pages are using this as well. If I were to add a new page in WordPress, maybe if I'm creating a home page, for example, this is my home page, I could select what template I want to use. And I could create a custom template if I wanted to as well. This template for page includes a header, a footer, and then the post title and post content. But maybe I wanted to create a page template that does not include a header and footer. So for example, I might want my default page template to not include the footer, because there's all kinds of links and items down here in the footer that maybe I don't want that on my contact page. Maybe I want my contact page to be a little simpler. So I'll just remove the footer and then save. So if I were to go, we'll come back and create a home page in a second. But if I were to view my sample page that's using that page template, that footer is gone. So I can create different templates that apply to different pages. And so if I leave my page template here, let's say I want to create a new template specific to my home page. What I would do is I'm going to make sure there's not already a front page template. Sometimes there is a front page template. Yeah, there's not yet. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add New. Oh, there's a front page template. So this is an option that would display only to the front page of your website. And so we can create a home page and assign that to be the front page or the landing page when people visit our URL. But I'm just going to create a generic page template for now. This template will only be used for a specific item chosen. I guess, let me go ahead and publish a page real quick. If I go to Pages, Add New, we'll create a home page. We'll publish this page. It's just going to be blank right now. And then I think I'll have to reload my editor here. Since I just created a new page, we're going to add a new page template that will apply to the home page. And so now I'm building out what the template's going to look like on the home page. And on the home page, I do want a footer. And so to add a block in the upper left corner, we're going to search up the block that I'm looking for. You could do headings, lists. There's so many blocks and patterns in the library here. But I'm just going to look up footer, because that's what I wanted to make sure is on my home page. And then I'll add the footer block. It gives me a few options of footers, and this is the one I wanted actually. So let me close this out, go to my list view, go ahead and remove my footer block. I accidentally added 2 footer blocks. And so we can see that this footer is a group, and then there's all kinds of sections and columns here that I could edit the content of. It's a super nested layout to work with this WordPress editor, and on the surface it can look pretty complicated, but I'd encourage you to get in here and try it out with the 2023 theme or the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme, and just try to change something. If you wanted to maybe remove one of these columns, for example, if I didn't need the archives column, if I decided I wanted to remove that one, what I might do is just try to find out where that column is at. Site logo is up here, so this is going to be the next set of columns. If I hover over, I can see there's the archives column. When I hover over here, it's highlighting on the right, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove the column. And there we go. So I'd encourage you to play around with this editor a little bit. It looks a little bit challenging on the surface, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty intuitive. So I'm going to go ahead and save my template. This is going to be my homepage template. And if I reload my homepage editor, we should see that in the template, it's using the home template that I created. And then when I go back to my templates list, we should see page home as a template that's available there. So I probably wouldn't use the homepage template on multiple pages, but I could if I wanted to. So now that we've created a homepage, let me go ahead and make that the front page of my website. Because if I view the front of my website by right-clicking and opening this in a new tab, got a couple tabs going, let me close this out. So it's just a blog archive that's showing the latest posts. And on an online course website, we're going to want to promote something or add some custom content to our homepage. So I'm going to go to settings, and I think it is writing, or no, it's going to be settings reading, where we determine what our homepage displays. Currently it says a list of your latest blog post. I want to create a custom homepage, so we're going to select the homepage I created and then save changes under settings reading, then reload. And there we go. So now this is our home page. I didn't add any content yet, but we'll add a little bit of content later. And it has a header, content area, and a footer, just like the template described. And in addition to templates in the appearance editor area, we also had this other item called template parts. Template parts are a little bit simpler. They would be like a header and a footer, which we did see before. We have the header up here at the top. If I edit this, edit header, this is going to be that default website header that we see on our homepage here and that we also see when we're working in other templates. It's basically just a part that's used in a lot of other templates. So I could create a custom header if I wanted to do maybe like a homepage header or something like that. I could create a custom header for that. We won't be doing that right now, but a little bit later in the tutorial, we'll get into creating a lesson header. So this would be a header that only applies to my lessons and a custom template that only applies to my lessons. And so some of this stuff will make a little bit more sense, but I wanted to highlight how the new full site editing framework works on a theme like the WordPress 2023 theme, or also the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme. A lot of these themes of the future are going to be full site editing, so I'd encourage you to play around with one of these and see if you can edit or create what you're looking for in this block editor. So now that we have a little bit of a general framework as to how the full site editor works, let's try to do some specific things. So the first item I want is to create a home page and a contact page. And so we've already created our home page and assigned it to the front page of the website. I'm going to add some text right now. We'll come back and change this text a little bit later. We'll say welcome to the home page. I'll say we'll add some more content here later. Update that. View page. Welcome to the home page. We'll add some more content here later. I also want to add a new page called a contact page. So I'll go to the back end of my website, go to pages, add new. We'll say contact, and we'll go ahead and publish this page. And on this page, I'm going to use a form plugin. I mentioned in my notes here, we're going to use WS Form. That's a free form plugin on the WordPress repository. If I go to plugins, add new. Just like LifterLMS is a plugin that adds courses, we can also add plugins to create forms. There's WP Forms, Ninja Forms, Formidable Forms, Gravity Forms. There's just so many forms plugins in the ecosystem that would work. And LifterLMS has some specific integrations with certain forms plugins for some advanced functionality. But right now I don't need any advanced functionality. I just want to create a contact page. So I'm going to go ahead and look up WS Form. WS Form Lite is the one I'm going to install. And for the contact form, the purpose of this is to create a form I can put on that contact page where people can put in their name and their email and a message, and then it sends me an email as the website owner so people can get in touch. And so by installing and activating that WS Form plugin, I have a new option over here on the left sidebar, WS Form. Let me click on that. And they, of course, have a nice tutorial to help you learn how to use this tool. I'm not going to go through the tutorial right now. I'm just going to go ahead and launch into the form editor. So keep it simple. I could watch the short 3-minute tutorial video, but I'm just going to get started. And most forms tools will give you some templates out of the box. You could start with a blank form and add your own contact fields, but they know that a lot of users are going to be using their form for certain items. So a newsletter sign up, or placing an order, or contact us. So I'm actually going to use contact us because that's exactly what I'm trying to create right now. So there we go. Contact us is going to populate a little form option for me. I can see here in the middle, I've got first name, last name, email, phone, your inquiry, and then a GDPR consent notice. For anyone unfamiliar, GDPR is a privacy regulation that came into effect in the last, I think, 3 years. 3 to 5 years, that focuses on making sure people can check a box and say, hey, I consent to the terms of service, I consent to using my data in a certain way. And it's important to have some kind of GDPR or privacy disclosure whenever people are typing into your website certain information. Like, we're collecting data right now. We're collecting your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number, and your inquiry. We're collecting and storing data. So we want to make sure to let our users know how we're collecting and storing the data. So that's what that field is all about. And in the editor here, there's so much going on. We have all these little circles that are highlighting different items for like import, export, publish, and preview submissions, all this kind of stuff. And then I can even add more fields. But I think this contact form looks pretty good. I'm going to remove the phone number field because I don't need phone number. Just go ahead and delete this. Confirm you want to delete this field. All right, so all I want is first name, last name, email. And maybe I don't even want last name, so I'm going to delete last name too. And then I think I can make this field full width if I drag this like this. There we go. Cool. So I want first name, email, and your inquiry. That looks good to me. Maybe I'll change inquiry to say your message. There we go. And then I want to save and close. And then publish up here in the upper left. So each forms tool is going to look a little bit different. They're going to have a little bit of a different interface for how this all comes together. And in WS Form, we can see there's a lot of options to explore. We could even look at how the form is going to look on a desktop, tablet, etc. But check out their YouTube channel for more tutorials on how WS Form works specifically. In our case, we've created a contact form. We can use this shortcode to put into my contact page. If I edit my contact page, I could also use, so there's a shortcode block where I could paste in that shortcode, but I could also use the WS Form block where it says choose the form you'd like to add. The form is going to be the contact form I just created. Go ahead and update my contact page and take a look at what it looks like. There we go. We've got the contact form, and we've got the checkbox here for GDPR, the submit button, the message, the email, and the first name. That's looking pretty good. The next thing we'll take a look at, now that we have a home page, we have a contact page, is how can we put these pages on our menu and how can we edit the menu? So if I go back to the full site editor, and the menu is going to be this area up here, by the way. Right now it's just taking all of my pages and putting them on the menu, but I want to customize this a little bit. So I'm going to edit site in a new tab, open my site editor, and this menu is a part of my header. So if we remember, the header is a part of a template, or a template part. Click on header, edit, and I'm going to open up the list view to make it a little clearer. We can see there's a group, which is just all of these items. So I need to open up the group, and inside the group is a row, and inside the row is where we have really the stuff we have going on. We've got our site title, which is called the LifterLMS Sandbox, is my website title. If I wanted to change my site title, real quick, we'll say if I wanted to change the site title, I would go to the WordPress admin. Let me poke around for a second. Setting general. Yeah, so settings general, that's where it's getting my site title from. We'll come back here later and change it. But for now, that's where this is generating from. And then we have our navigation, which is what I want to edit. And then I have a button, which is just called CTA button, call to action button. I'm going to leave CTA button for now because once I set up my LifterLMS courses and my WooCommerce products, I'm going to have my call to action be to sign up for a course. So I'm going to leave that for now. I'm just going to edit my navigation menu. And in the navigation, we see we have a page list. And in the page list, we've got all these individual items, contact, course catalog, etc. And so for me, I'm not going to be doing memberships with this website. LifterLMS can do courses and memberships in a lot of fun and powerful ways. But I'm going to go ahead and edit this. If I go back, I can also edit over on the right side. You see we have page list on the left as a part of my blocks, but also over here on the right. And when we're first creating a menu, we saw all those lock options. On my items, there's a little lock icon next to them, and it was under a page list block over here on the left, and I clicked ahead and edited the menu while taking a drink and not recording, so you didn't see how that changed. But let me jump over to this other demo site I have that shows what we would do there. So we have our page list block, and then when I select that block, and we have all the lock icons, over here on the right we have edit menu, and what it's going to do is create a navigation menu for us. It's going to unlock this, so now I can edit these items. So that's just what that would look like. And so now that we can edit all of our navigation items, I wanted to remove my membership catalog option. I wanted to move my home page maybe up here to the top, and then I don't want sample page on my menu. That's just a page that WordPress adds out of the box. Purchase page does not need to be in the menu. Dashboard page is fine for now. We'll come back and change this more later, but that's how we can clean up our menu. And there are some options over here on the navigation menu that I want to highlight as well. Every block will have something on the right hand side when we're selected on the block that shows what the options are for that block. So I have the navigation block, which shows me a list view because the navigation block is actually composed of other blocks like these 4 page items. But then I'll also have settings, which can help me with justification if I want this to be left aligned, right aligned, center. I could play around with that. I could play around with the orientation if it's going to be like a vertical menu, or if it's going to be left to right. And then it can wrap to multiple lines if I want it to, or I could force it to stay on one line. And then some other options that are specific to this menu block. For example, for an icon, This is what we would see on a phone or a small device when the menu gets squished too much. It's going to show this little icon. Maybe I want it to be like a hamburger with 3 or 2, whatever you want that to look like. You can select that icon there, and then you could also do like overlay options as well for mobile. Different options you can play around with, and then these are going to be specific to the block we're working with, in this case navigation block. And then there's also the design options, which is usually going to be indicated by this little half and half circle. We could change the text color of our menu items. We could change the background color of the menu items. We could change the submenu items. And so a submenu is when we have certain items that are nested under another item. So what I did is I clicked and dragged the course catalog and made it a sub item. I moved it a little over to the right under my contact page. We'll put that one there too. Or no, the dashboard is supposed to be a sub item of the contact. So I'm just clicking and dragging these items around a little bit. That's not what I want to do. There we go. So if I wanted these to be sub items of my contact page, I could do that. So when I hover over, we have like a drop down, and then that's where we would have our overlay text color. Oops. So this would be go back to edit my navigation block. That's the text color, and then the background. If I go back to design, I could do a background color for those as well. So that's just some of the color options there. So I'd encourage you to explore those a little bit if you want to change some of the colors of menus and overlays. It's pretty easy to do here in the editor. I'm going to move my items around again because, yeah, home, course catalog, contact, and dashboard. Awesome. So if I save and then go back to the front end of my website and reload, anywhere that my header template part, which is what I just updated, is displayed is going to update as well. So if I go back to my home page, we'll see the menus the same because they're both using that same header template part. So thinking in terms of the templates and template parts, that header that I just edited is a part of multiple templates, but later in the tutorial we'll create different headers and different templates so they're not all going to update site-wide when I do that. Awesome. So bringing it back to the list, we've installed WordPress, we've installed our Sky Pilot full site editing theme, we've explored how we can edit the header, the footer, the templates, and the template parts, and what some of the block options are when we're editing. We've created key pages like a contact page and a home page, we've edited the navigation menu, and created a contact form so people can send us a message through the website. Let's take a look at something more complex now, and that is installing the LifterLMS plugin and starting to create some courses and some more advanced interaction. If you're creating a static website, like a blog page or a restaurant website or something, you already have all the tools you need. We have a contact page, we've shown how to use the block editor, and so you could just use the block editor and some of the patterns and blocks that are available here to build out a full website with all the tools at your disposal, with pre-made templates and some cool stuff like that. But we're going to be adding some more advanced functionality to this website, including an LMS with courses and WooCommerce for a store. So let's get into that part now. I've already installed the LifterLMS plugin because we needed to do that to have our license key be activated just for the Sky Pilot theme. So that's been installed. We went ahead and ran the setup wizard, and adding the pages to the menu is something that we did when we were editing our header there. So now on the front end of the website, let me go back to the front end, we have our course catalog and our dashboard page. These are two pages that LifterLMS generates automatically. The course catalog is going to show all the courses on our website, the course post types. If I go to the back end of WordPress, go to courses, I don't have any created yet, so it's saying no products were found, but we'll create some courses and we'll have some here in our catalog. And then the student dashboard page serves two purposes. For students who are logged in or users who are logged in, they see what I see on screen right now. They'll see courses that they're enrolled in, they'll see achievements and certificates and memberships, and then more advanced stuff like grades and notifications. I can edit my account and stuff like that from right here. And then we also have our membership catalog and our purchase page. If I go to my full page list, we have purchase, which is going to be the LifterLMS checkout. Viewing this page doesn't really do anything right now. It just says your cart is empty because we haven't created any courses with access plans yet from Lifter. So that page is not really one we'll need to cover right now. And then the membership catalog is the same as the course catalog, but just for memberships instead of courses. So those are those pages that were created with the LifterLMS setup wizard. If for some reason that setup wizard doesn't run when you install the plugin, we can go to LifterLMS status. We can go to tools and utilities. And then we can say setup wizard, return to setup wizard. And what this is going to do is take us back to what the screen was that I saw, where I can say get started now. It's going to add my pages, make sure they're on my website, set my currency, and then offer tracking if I wanted to do that to get a coupon where it sends some data to the LifterLMS website about how many students you have and how like other plugins and themes you have installed to help troubleshoot items and just understand better what the community is using. But we also have this last page, which is one I skipped when I set up initially, which has some import sample courses and then also some tutorials if you want to check out the LifterLMS YouTube channel or our Academy website. These are some good getting started guides. But I can also install courses from here. I'm going to install all 3 of these courses and import courses. It'll take a second, but this is going to give me 3 courses to work with. Here on the course catalog I had 0. So it just finished. It imported 3 courses in the back end. Under courses we have 3. And so now if I reload my course catalog, we'll have a few sample courses that we can take a look at. The LifterLMS Quick Start course is a useful one if you're new to LifterLMS and watching this tutorial. We're going to talk a little bit at a high level as to how you can edit lessons and how you can create quizzes and how you can connect your courses to e-commerce. But for a more in-depth view, make sure to check this course out. It's free to install with the LifterLMS plugin, and you can also find it at academy.lifterlms.com, the LifterLMS Quick Start course. And then there's a free course lead magnet template, which you can use as a website owner to offer a free lead magnet product to your audience to get them interacting and logging into your website with some small free course content that will upsell into your more premium paid content. And then we also have course template, which shows just a sales page that Chris put together as a good example of what you might want to include with lessons, coaching, and community as a part of building an LMS website and what that might look like as a sales page. And I think this is long. Yeah, there's all kinds of pictures and sample text in here. You can get a lot of this stuff with patterns in WordPress too. Like I mentioned before, if we click on Edit Course, we have those blocks. This plus icon in the upper right corner, we have blocks where we can add lists, heading, quotes, groups, audio, text, all kinds of stuff. But the WordPress team has some great designers who've already created some patterns for you that might be like a call to action. If I scroll through here, they have schedule a visit, a pricing option. If I click on one of these, let me go all the way to the bottom. Oops. All the way to the bottom there. Let me install that call to action one. And then I'll close out of that. And we can see I could customize this a little bit just to give us a little bit of a launching pad. This is something you could easily create in blocks, but it's just nicely formatted in terms of these columns to give us a quick start into some design stuff. And with LifterLMS, I'll do a quick overview of how courses and memberships work. And like I said, check out the Quick Start course, check out some of our other tutorials for a more in-depth view. But LifterLMS as a plugin adds the functionality to add courses, memberships to the back end of your website, and also some items that pertain to those, like quizzes, would be inside of a course. Involved in this course builder are options like creating a course outline. I'm going to click Expand All over here on the right. This is where we put together our course outline with our sections and lessons, and this is one of my template courses that already has a bunch of content populated. But if I were to back out of this course builder, back to the courses page and click Add Course, just like adding a WordPress page, we need to give it a title. And we also have some other blocks on this page about the author and the instructor, the course information, pricing table, and some other items we'll dive into. It's always important to open up the right-hand side up here at the top, the settings. I always like to leave this panel up here open. It helps me find the course builder button. You can see launch course builders up here at the top, also over here on the right, and I just launched the course builder before from hovering over the builder on this list. So there's multiple ways in WordPress to get around to the same location, whatever works for you. And then we see something we've covered before, the template. In this case, we're using the single course template, so we might come in and edit that one from our full site editor a little bit later. And we see things like author information, move to trash. If we wanted this course to be hidden, we could do that if we say this course is hidden from catalog and search because this is a private course that I built for one person specifically or a private group. You could do that. And that course catalog, if I go to the back end or the front end of my website, course catalog is right here, so I could determine that this is not going to be visible on the catalog, for example. We have some other options like categories, difficulties, and tracks. So if I say difficulties, this is a beginner course. I can create these custom difficulties with whatever names I want, and then those will display here in course information because difficulty is turned on here. So if I publish my course, we see difficulty is a beginner course. And if I were to create a bunch of courses on my website, I could give multiple courses the beginner difficulty. And let me just go ahead and do that. For the quick start course, I'm going to edit this course and give this one beginner difficulty as well. So we'll say, oh, there was already a beginner kind of difficulty tag created on that one. But if I view the quick start course, we see difficulty beginner course, and then if I click on that little tag, this is an example of where our archive comes into play. So we can see as we build out more post types like courses that are in addition to pages and blog posts on our website, we can still use this full site editor in some more complex ways to create more templates and archives and items like that we might use. So we've talked a little bit about the course builder. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. This is what a blank course builder would look like if I had a section and a lesson. All lessons need to be in sections, so we'll say section 1, welcome, and then this will be lesson 1, introduction. I can give my sections and lessons any name that I would like, and then over in the bottom we'll save changes and then view course by clicking on that little button right here, this little view course button. Let me reload my course builder. We can edit the course with the WordPress icon. That'll take me back out to the page I was on before where it said launch course builder. Just a little bit of ways to get around, and then view course is going to take me to the front end, and so then I could edit course, take me back to this page, and then launch the builder. So we have the edit course page and we have the builder as two separate areas. The edit course page is where you'll give your course a title, set the difficulties, set a description, and set certain items like a price. And then the course builder is where we'll actually build out our lesson structure, and we could create really complex courses with a lot of sections and lessons, or we could create simpler courses. And then in addition to lessons, we have some options to edit lesson settings right here from the back end. This is going to be the permalink or the URL to my lesson. We can embed a video. We can make it a free lesson. If we wanted to be able to share this URL on social media and have people come view this lesson without having to enroll, we could make it a free lesson as a promotional item. We could set options like drip method, where we could say this lesson becomes available on a specific date or a number of days after enrollment. And again, more specific info on how this would work and some more of these settings in the LifterLMS Quick Start course. But we could also add an assignment, add a quiz. This little icon indicates if there's content on my lesson. And so part of adding content to a lesson, if I close that, would be to edit that lesson. So here there's a little edit course icon, the little WordPress logo, and then if I hover over the lesson title, I can click the WordPress icon to edit the lesson. So on this lesson, we can see lessons have a couple of special blocks as well, like mark complete. This is where students will click I've completed the lesson. They'll move on to the next one. And also lesson navigation. Currently it says back to course, but it would say next lesson if I were to add, let me go back to my course builder, add lesson 2, and then save that. Then come over here and reload. We'll have a next lesson button there. And so that's the lesson navigation and the mark complete. And then we can add content to the lesson. And just like on our pages and our courses and our blog posts and our templates, we're going to be using blocks here as well. So we can add paragraphs, heading, quotes. We could add videos. If I have a Vimeo video I'd like to embed, I could add a URL to my Vimeo video. Let me go ahead and find a sample YouTube video, embed it in the lesson, and show you what that would look like. All right, so maybe the video I would want to embed is this one. So if I go back to my edit lesson page, let me close this out. So instead of a quote, instead of a Vimeo video, I want to add a YouTube video. So let's paste my URL, click embed, and there we go. Update that lesson and view it, see what this looks like. All right, so we can see it's starting to come together. And the nice thing is, if I go back to my course catalog, with the LifterLMS plugin there's my sample course. The nice thing is that I have these sample courses to look at and see how the courses came together. So I have what is LifterLMS. I can mark this one as complete, and then it's going to check that box for me, give me a little pop-up notification. And you can find out more about this on our YouTube channel as to like how these pop-up notifications work. That would be on the back end under LifterLMS settings, notifications, and then these basic notifications are going to be the pop-up. I got the lesson complete pop-up. So you can customize those and all kinds of other options inside of Lifter. So now that we've taken a look at how to use LifterLMS to create a course and how to use the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme, let's take a look at how we can use the two together. Like I mentioned, I created a course just as a sample. We have our sample course here, and then we also had some course templates I imported. I'm going to open both of these in separate tabs here and open up the settings in the sidebar. For my course template, we can see the template that I'm using is single course, and for the course title, it's not a very creative name, but the template I'm using here is also single course. And I'm going to leave both these tabs open for now. I'm going to jump to another tab and go to Appearance Editor and create a new template that I'm going to use on one of my courses. Maybe I'll create a template for course title, and so that way I can have a little bit of a different layout than the course template. So let's set up a hypothetical example real quick. If I preview both of my courses in a new tab, let me just see what these look like. So my course title has a header, it has the title, the sidebar, and it has the footer. And then my course template has the same items, the header, the footer, the sidebar. And maybe for this example, what I want to do is, for my course title, this is going to be a little more of a simple course. Maybe it's a course for internal training, and then this course is for the general public. So I want this course to have the header and the footer and the sidebar and everything. But for this course, I want it to look a little bit different. I don't want it to have a header, or maybe I want it to have a custom header that looks a little bit different. And then I don't want the footer, and I just want to make it a little more simple. So I'm going to create a simple course template that I can apply to this one. Jumping back over, I'll close my previews. I'm going to jump back over to my Appearance Editor area in LifterLMS Sky Pilot. I'm going to go to Templates, and I'm going to add a new template. Up here at the top, there's a little plus button, and I want to add single item course. It's going to take a second and load the courses that I have. It's going to be for the course title. And as it makes a template, it asks me to select a post type that I've already created, one of my courses. But I can also apply the same template that I'm going to design right now to a future course. And what I mentioned is that I don't want a footer, so we're going to go ahead and remove the footer. And then I'm going to mess with the group here a little bit in a second, but I'm going to remove the header as well. So really right now we just have our columns. We have a 2-column layout. And if you're used to classic themes, in WordPress, you're used to a sidebar and a content area. And in this case, we do have a sidebar and a content area, but it's not really called a sidebar. It's just two columns. We have a column that's 66% width, and we have a column that's 33% width. So we created a sidebar layout without actually using a sidebar editor or anything specific like that. And so I think I'm going to leave the sidebar for now. But since I mentioned that this is going to be a simple course, basically all I want is a title and the ability for my users to navigate. So I'm going to remove some of these blocks that I don't really want on my course. I don't want tracks showing on my course. I do want the post content. The post content's important. The post content is going to be like my syllabus and my description and certain items that I choose to add within the course. So it's important to leave post content as a part of your template. And so post title as well. We'll leave post title, featured image. We have a block here that says unsupported. Let's take a look at what's going on here. It looks like, let's read the message. Your site doesn't include the LMS progress block. You can leave the block intact or remove it entirely. Let me check the course progress block. Progress with continue button. I see. So LifterLMS has a few blocks, like the course progress is one of them that displays a little bar and it shows our completion through the course. If I enroll in this course real quick, I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to edit the course and enroll myself so we can take a look at what I'm referring to. I think, what's my name? Trial. I'm manually enrolling myself in a LifterLMS course, and if this looks foreign to you, we haven't really gone over this before, but this is the student management area of a course. When we edit a course page, we can enroll students manually at the bottom, or we could create an access plan so they can enroll themselves. We'll take a look at access plans here in a little bit, but I just wanted to enroll myself so we can see if the progress bar works. Yep. Course enrollment success, but here we go. So this is that progress bar, the 0%, and then as I complete the course, this will fill with some color to indicate that I'm going through the course. And that's what's going on right here, is this block says the LMS course progress isn't supported, but it does seem to be working, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And then this block is the syllabus block. No syllabus found. That's because we're working on a template, and if I go back to my page here, this is the syllabus over here on the right. Some users will remove the syllabus from the middle and just have the syllabus over on the right. You could have it in both places, however you want that to display. But that's what's going on the sidebar, and I think that looks pretty good. So now that I've created my custom course template, that only applies to this single course, I can go ahead and edit my course, reload the page, and then I should see that my template over on the right looks a little bit different. We see it's using the custom template that I just designed, and then over here on my other course, it's using just the single course template as it was before. So if we preview both of these again, let's go ahead and preview in a new tab, wait for both of these to load. We see I've got my simple course layout, and then I have my more complex single course that includes a header and a footer. If I scroll all the way down, we'll see the footer. So we can have two different course layouts there. And if you did want to create a template that would apply to multiple courses, this is basically customizing an individual post. I customize the header and the footer. I could go back out to manage all my templates, and I can add a new template just like I did before. I selected the single item course. That's the one I created a template for a single item, but I could also go to the bottom and select custom template. So this could manually be applied to any post or page. So maybe instead of single course, this would be course without header footer. This way I could apply this layout to multiple courses if I wanted to. And so I'll go into the block editor, I said it's not going to include a header, and it has a group here. And what I would probably want to do is add in some columns. I think the other one had a 60-40 column. Let me change my decision there. Do a columns block. I was like 66-33, and what we had was, let's see what's going on here. I'm just going to move these around. This was in maybe column 1. If I can move it down there. Column 1 has the post title, then column 1 also has the post content. This group doesn't do anything, so I'm going to remove it. So we've got our 2-column layout, and then over here I added in the syllabus, course syllabus. Below that was progress. And I'm using a /. You may have noticed as a shortcut, I can type / and then I can start typing the name of the block. So I could say syllabus and it's going to narrow it down, or I could go to the upper left and click the plus button and search up syllabus and then add the block that way as well. So I'm just using a little bit of a shortcut to add a block in, and I'm clicking return in order to drop down to the next little area there. But I wanted the progress block, and it said the progress block was not supported. We have course progress with continue button. This one would be used on a main course page. Let me show you what that would look like. Course progress with continue button. It would look something like this. So this is not the one we're looking for, not the block that we're looking for. It's got the progress bar and then it's got the continue button, which currently says get started because I haven't done anything in the course yet. But once I complete lesson 1, move to lesson 2, go back out to my course here, it'll say continue. So when we see course progress with continue button as a block, I know that's what it's referring to, is this block here with 2 combined in 1. And we saw that message earlier that the progress block wasn't supported. Maybe in the future when you're watching this video, the course progress block will be supported in this editor, but in the meantime, what we can do is use a shortcode. So lifterlms.com/docs/shortcodes is a really useful resource. I often find myself going to Google and typing in LifterLMS shortcodes because this document has so many useful features. And a shortcode, for anyone who's new to shortcodes, is basically a little item within a bracket that plugins recognize and can generate some data in. So for our contact form earlier in the tutorial, we had a shortcode available where we could take a shortcode, put it on our page, and that would generate our contact form. And in this case, I want course progress because for some reason it's not supported. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the course progress shortcode back over to my editor, and we're going to use a shortcode block and drop in the course progress and see if it works, which it should. And so now we've got our sidebar, we've got our main area, and I do want to add a few more blocks here actually. I want to add the back to course block. I think we can do, oh no, the course back to course would be actually inside of a lesson. Is there anything else I need to add here? I'm just trying to recreate what this would look like. No, I think that's actually it. So I'll remove this sample block. So we got our title, our content, and then our sidebar items. I'm going to go ahead and save my new template that's called course without header footer. And then I can go over to my courses and reload the page. Close out some of my extra tabs. And then over on the right, we'll have the option for course without header footer, or the default template is going to be the custom one that I created for this course. And then also this course is going to have the same option. I could do single course, or I could do course without header footer. So then I could select course without header footer and update. And then this course, if I view it, should lose the header and footer. And you can see my formatting options are a little bit strange. It looks like it's squished with my blocks. So I'd want to fix that up by expanding the width of my content area. Looks like it's not too wide. So let's set this to maybe 1200 pixels. Save this and see if that changes. So what I did is I went to my group. Groups are very frequently used for formatting options in block setups like this. So I encourage you to explore the group settings for design if you want to do a background color on your page, or set a width of a certain area. Like I mentioned before, you could have one area for the post title that's 500 pixels and the rest is 900. So what I did is I set the group to be 1200 pixels, and let's see if that makes it look a little bit better. There it goes. Okay, so it's a little bit wider on my screen. Things aren't so squished. Awesome. And so that's two ways that you can create a template with LifterLMS Sky Pilot and apply it to a course. We could either create a template that applies only to a single item, or we could create a custom template that I could apply to multiple items. And just a template can apply to a course, as we've just demonstrated here. A template could also apply to a lesson. So I showed this is my sample course I'm working with. If I go into the lesson, I see I have my header and I have my footer, but I removed the header and footer from the course, so why is it showing up in the lesson? Because a lesson is a different post type than a course. So what I would need to do is go back over into my appearance editor area right here, and I would need to work with my single lesson template. Or I could create a custom template as well. So maybe some lessons I want my header and footer on. So I'm going to create a custom template in this case. This will be called lesson without header footer. We'll create that template, drop into the little list view, clean this up. So what I want to do, just like I did in the course, is I want to create a 2-column layout, and columns, we'll do the 6633 option. Go back into my list view. Then the post title, I want that one right here. The post content block, I want below the post title block. This group doesn't really matter. Remove group. I'm going to go ahead and put this column into a group. Expand my columns again. So that way I can do that same thing where I do 1200 pixels, because I know it's going to be a little bit squished if I don't do that. We've got our title and our content, and then in our second column we wanted a syllabus, and then we also had that shortcode. Let me go into a new tab real quick and go find that shortcode again. I think it was LifterLMS _ course progress, but I just need to, I don't remember what it was. So with course without header footer, I have to edit this one to figure it out. Yep, that's my shortcode. Close that tab. And so my shortcode for the progress is going to look like that. Awesome. So I just clicked save in the upper right corner. And so what I've done here is create a lesson without header and footer, where I have the post title, the post content, and then some shortcodes. And hopefully it should look something like this. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is edit my lesson. And like I've shown before, there's a few ways to edit a lesson. In this case, I was on the front end of my website, so there's that edit lesson right there at the top for me. But I could also go to the back end of my website. If I wanted to go to the dashboard, I could go to courses, and then to the course builder for my course, expand my section, and then edit the lesson here. So a few different ways to get to the exact same place, whatever works for you to navigate around. And so now that I'm editing my lesson, I can change the template. So I could do lesson without header footer as my template, go ahead and update, take a look at what it looks like. Hopefully should be pretty good. It does look pretty good. Few issues that this progress bar is like touching the top of the website, so that's a little strange. So maybe what I would do is come back over into my appearance editor area here, edit my template, and I would probably put a spacer. WordPress is nice in that it allows me to have just a plethora of blocks to work with, and a spacer is one of them. You'll commonly find this one in page builders, and I'll just move that to the top with these little arrows. I could also just click and drag it around, or even drag it around on the sidebar. But I want maybe 10 pixels padding, and save that. See what that looks like. Go back over to my lesson tab and reload. It looks a little bit better. And then also lesson 1 is just close. It's really close to the top. So what I would do is put another spacer in here, and the spacer would probably go in, I'll put it here at the bottom. Spacer. It could go above the group, or it could go in the group above the columns. Either way, it'll appear above the columns there. Let's go back to my lesson and reload. There we go. So now I have a little bit more space to work with. Up there at the top, and maybe I'd want to put a spacer at the bottom too. But you can see how I'm going back and forth between my lesson and my template, and I'm modifying what it looks like. And the neat thing about this is that you can apply this template to multiple lessons. As we saw when I edited the lesson, I selected my template over here on the right. You don't have to do this one by one for each lesson, because if you have 100 courses or 100 lessons on your website, it can be tedious to go through one by one and select edit lesson, template, lesson without header, footer, update. It's just a lot of steps. So if we have a bunch of lessons that I want to apply this template to, I would go back out to my WordPress editor, the WP admin area. I would go to courses, and then under courses we have lessons as an option here. And this allows me to view all the lessons on my website in a list format. I can even filter by course. So if I want all of the lessons in a certain course to follow a certain template, I can do that. Let me find one of my courses to apply that new template to, the Quick Start course. So if I say Quick Start course, LifterLMS Quick Start course, and filter, it's going to show me only the lessons that are in the LifterLMS Quick Start course. I can see I have 19 items. And what I would want to do is select this option over here on the right to check, or on the right, it's on the left, to check some boxes and select all of my lessons. And then I would do bulk actions edit, apply. And it gives me this little drop down where it shows me what lessons I'm editing. These are all the ones I selected in the list. And then I can change the author, I can change the comments or status. If I want to make them all drafts, if I'm taking down my course, I could do that. But what I want to do here is say that all of these lessons are going to use the new template I created. Then click update. And so it's going to go through in one click and update all of my lessons in the Quick Start course to use my new template. And then I'll go to courses, and then view the Quick Start course, which is going to be using the single course template because we didn't edit this one yet. So the single course template includes a header, it includes a footer, and a sidebar. But then all of these lessons should be using my new layout. And there it is. We can see, oh, there you go. The syllabus is like touching the bottom of the page. So I would want to put a spacer at the bottom. So if I go to each of these lessons, they're all going to be following that same template. And they all have this problem where the syllabus is touching the bottom of my web page. So I'm going to go back to my appearance editor area. And I left this tab open where I was editing this. And I want to put another spacer here. I'm just going to click the 3 dots and duplicate. There's all kinds of cool shortcuts you can use here in the WordPress editor. I'll put the spacer. Okay, I want it to go to the bottom, so I'm going to put it at the top, and then I'm going to click the down arrow so it goes all the way to the bottom below the group. 10 pixels. Save my template. Then reload my lesson. And hopefully we should have some more space at the bottom, and there we go. We have some more space at the bottom. And then if I go to another lesson, we should see that lesson also has some space at the bottom. So since all of these lessons are now using my template, I can make a change to my template and it would apply to each of my lessons. And so that's a cool way that you can use a full site editing theme like Sky Pilot alongside LifterLMS in order to customize what things look like. And hopefully as you work with templates and work with a block editor, you'll become more familiar with how this all kind of works and what blocks are available that you can integrate into your courses and memberships and other pages that you created. So the next thing that we'll dive into, now that we've created a second course with a separate template, we've shown how you can apply different templates to different courses. Let's talk about getting people enrolled into your programs. So I'm not going to dive too deep in this tutorial into how you would build out your course. We've shown how you would create a course with a course title and how to add lessons, but there's all kinds of other things you can do with LifterLMS. I'd encourage you to check out on our YouTube channel how to create assignments, how to create quizzes, what types of content you could add to a lesson, creating interactive lessons using block visibility settings. There's some incredible stuff you can do with creating the actual content of your course, but in this tutorial I want to focus on just some of the high-level functionality of Sky Pilot with WooCommerce and Lifter. So let's dive into how we would get people enrolled into our program. So the process of free enrollment with LifterLMS would be to edit our course and create an access plan. I mentioned earlier we'd take a look at access plans, so let's see what those are. If I go to my courses list on my WordPress admin and edit on my course, here we should see access plans. And earlier I manually enrolled myself by clicking on this area, typing in my email, and then selecting myself as a student. I'm the only user on this website, so it's only one user, but if you have a bunch of users, you'll see all of them listed in this dropdown. But for people to sign up to your course themselves, they would need an access plan. So I'm going to say add new. I would give this, we're going to do a free enrollment. So I'll say free enrollment. Give it any title you want. And then this would be a SKU number if you're going to be using SKU numbers to track a bunch of different programs you're selling. And then enroll text would be joined by whatever you want it to be. I think it says enroll by default. I'm going to leave it blank for now, and I'll show you where this appears. I'm going to say no payment required. You can set a price, but once we check this box, the price goes away. But we will be using WooCommerce in this tutorial, so this area will look a little bit different in a second, but just so you can see what LifterLMS can do out of the box, we could do maybe a payment every month for all time. We could do maybe a trial. So it would be like $100 maybe for trial length is 1 year. So $100 for the first year and then $10 a month ongoing. Maybe if I wanted to create that kind of a setup, or we could do like a $10 every month, or maybe every 3 months, $10. But then we have a trial offer where you could get, for $5, you can get 1 month free. Or it's not free, it's $5. So for $5, you could get 1 month, and then it's going to be $10 every 3 months. You could do all kinds of complex setups with this payment setup, and we're going to be using WooCommerce, which has a little bit of a different payment setup, but just wanted to showcase some of the things you could do with the Lifter access plan. So in this case, I want to check no payment required because this is going to be a free access plan, lifetime access to my course. I don't want it to expire after 1 year or anything like that. This is going to be lifetime, and we'll say as a description for my access plan, what do I want to add? I'll just leave the description blank for now and just save and show you what this would look like. So if I view my course, the LifterLMS pricing block, this is one that we glossed over earlier, the LifterLMS pricing table, is going to take my access plans and show them on the front end of my website. And I'm actually enrolled in this course, so it's not going to show me because I'm already a student. But if I go to the top and say view as visitor with LifterLMS, now I can see the free enrollment option. And if I click enroll here, it's going to take me over to that purchase page, which is why that purchase page is important to have, just because all of your access plans are going to use that purchase page when using LifterLMS. So that's how we can create a free enrollment. And I mentioned we could change the enroll text. So all the way down here, if I open my access plan, I could say join now, save that, reload my course page, and that button's going to change to say join now. And then we could add a description and any pictures or whatever we wanted to add here. And if we had multiple access plans, it would create a table setup. Just to show what this would look like, I'll save my plan there. So I have 2 access plans now, so we should see 2 options here. And so you could create some interesting pricing setups. So that's how you would create a free access plan with Lifter to allow people to enroll. Once people click on this link, let's go to an incognito window and take a look at what this would look like for a logged out user. Maybe they would go to the course catalog. They would select course title is one that they want to enroll in, and then they would click join now. They'd be taken to the purchase page where they can enter their information here and enroll in the course. And if you wanted to edit any of this information on the LifterLMS access plans that's collected, we can see we have email, password, first name, address, phone number. Maybe we don't want to collect address and phone number because this is so many fields for a free course. What I might do would be to go to the back end of my WordPress website. Then under LifterLMS forms, this is where we can see all those forms that we have. We have billing information is the one that appears right there on that checkout page. If I edit that, I can see the form options. Let me do list view. I have email, password, first and last name, address, and phone number. I don't want phone number. Remove phone number, remove address, and these are grouped blocks. So we have all the fields nested within these, but I'm just gonna remove, I don't want any of the address. I just want email, password, first name, last name. Update that. And then let me copy my URL again. Go to an incognito window. Here's my homepage. I want to go to the course catalog, course title, enroll in a free course, and then I just have email, password, first name, last name. And so that is a general setup for how we would create a free course. And as I mentioned before, we wanted to put something over here in that call to action button. And what I'll put in the call to action button is sign up for the free course. So maybe I'll link to my course page directly. I'll copy my URL to my course page, and I'm gonna go back to my Sky Pilot theme under Appearance Editor and edit my header. So header is a template part. Header, edit this, open up the list view because it's a little bit confusing to edit over here. Buttons, like you have the buttons block and there's a button within the buttons block. You could have multiple buttons. It's a little bit strange. I'm used to having just a single button block, but this is just how the WordPress editor does it. It's like a buttons block with multiple. And in this case, I just have one button within that block. I want to link this call to action to the course page. I copied my course link, and then it shouldn't say CTA button. I'm going to double click over here on the right and say, take the free course. Save. I'm going to save that, and then it says site updated. So if I go back to my website homepage, awesome. So it says take the free course. Let's see what happens if I click on this. I'm already enrolled, so it's just going to take me right in to start taking the course content. But if I go back to my incognito window and then take the free course, there it goes. It says here's your access plans, join now, and then there we go. So it's a full circle setup that we created there where we've installed Sky Pilot, figured out how to use the menu, created a course in Lifter, and then taken our free course and put it in the header. And now what happens if we want to accept payments for our online courses? We would need to install WooCommerce as the e-commerce engine in this case. LifterLMS offers a few payment gateways like Stripe and PayPal. If you wanted to use that LifterLMS access plan that we showed right here to have a payment of a one-time payment of $100, or maybe a two-time payment of $60. We would do every month for 2 months, so that'd be $120 total if you want to do the two-time payment. We could create this setup and use a LifterLMS payment gateway like Stripe or PayPal directly. But in this tutorial, we're going to talk about LifterLMS plus WooCommerce. LifterLMS plus WooCommerce offers some more interesting features. If you haven't heard of WooCommerce before, it allows you to turn your website into a store. So you can offer physical products, digital products, shipping. There's like shipping classes and weights. And if you need to have VAT numbers because you're maybe in the EU, and so you need to make sure you collect your students or the people who are buying your course, collect their VAT number and charge them certain rates for like tax laws, you would want to use a product like WooCommerce alongside LifterLMS to unlock some of that additional functionality. The Lifter payment system is relatively simple out of the box. As you saw right here on screen, we can do some complex payment setups, but as far as integrating with QuickBooks or collecting taxes differently based on region that the user's in, that's where WooCommerce would come into play with some of that more advanced functionality. Another use case for WooCommerce would be if you wanted to sell both physical and digital products on the same website. LifterLMS can do digital products very well. We have our courses, we have our memberships, and we can manage them through access plans. We could use courses and course categories to create like a video library or even sell ebooks. If we created a category of courses called ebook, we could remove the course syllabus that we've been working with and basically just have a button on our course that said like the ebook product. We would basically remove all of these blocks, and then we would just have a buttons block that says download the ebook, and then this button would only be visible to people enrolled in the course. So that might be a way that you'd have to buy with the access plan to get access to the download button to download our PDF or wherever this button linked to. And so we can do digital products really well, but we can't do physical products very well. So that's where WooCommerce comes into play to sell both physical and digital products in the same store in a really interesting way. So if you want to integrate with advanced tax systems, if you want to sell physical and digital products, or if you want access to a cart feature, with LifterLMS and that access plan system that we showed, when people go to a course or a membership, we haven't really talked about memberships, but it works the same way on a membership. When people go enroll in the course, I made my plans paid and I don't have a payment gateway set up. My access plans disappeared. Let's jump back to my incognito window and reload. So back to what I was talking about. If you want to have a cart feature, LifterLMS doesn't really offer a cart feature out of the box. It just takes us to the course page and then to the purchase page. But what if I wanted to purchase like 3 courses at once, or I wanted to purchase 1 membership and 2 courses? I couldn't do that. I would have to do 3 transactions individually. And so that's where WooCommerce is also very strong, in that you can have a cart integrated directly onto your website, so people can add any amount of items to their cart and check out with it. Let's go ahead and install the WooCommerce plugin and show how we would integrate that with Lifter. I'm going to go to Plugins, Add New, and install WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a free plugin, just like Lifter, on the WordPress repository. But then there is a paid integration from LifterLMS. That's the second paid product I talked about at the start of the video, LifterLMS Sky Pilot, and also the LifterLMS WooCommerce integration. I'm going to install and activate WooCommerce, and it's probably going to launch me into a setup wizard. WooCommerce has a lot of functionality, so it's taking some time to kick this off for me. Welcome to Woo. I haven't seen this tour before. I've set up WooCommerce on hundreds of websites, but I haven't set it up in a while. So it's going to take me through a setup just like Lifter, where we fill out some information. I'm just starting my business. That's my store name. That's my website name, as we showed a little bit earlier. What type of products do I plan to sell? This isn't really necessary for setting up your WooCommerce store. I think this is just some extra data they want to collect about how their users are using WooCommerce. I don't know, education and learning. Yep. My store is located in Florida. And it's going to go ahead and encourage you to install some payment gateways, some integrations and stuff like that. I don't want most of this, so I'm going to uncheck these boxes. I'm not going to be shipping anything, so I don't want to print shipping labels with WooCommerce shipping. I don't even know much about how that works, so we'll just uncheck these boxes. Oh, here we go, automated tax rates. That's one of those features we were talking about. Securely accept payments with WooCommerce payments. I'm going to turn that off for now. I'm going to install WooCommerce and Stripe in this example, but another benefit I didn't even talk about with WooCommerce is that you can use many gateways that LifterLMS doesn't support. So Stripe and PayPal are the 2 most popular with Lifter, but maybe you're in India and you need to use something like PayUmoney or Razorpay. gateways that don't integrate with LifterLMS directly, WooCommerce, I believe, does have integrations with those two gateways. And so by installing the Lifter WooCommerce setup, you unlock more payment gateways to reach more of the world with payment options. So that's just another advantage of WooCommerce alongside Lifter. And so here we go. We're back to the WordPress dashboard. We went through that little setup wizard, and they have a nice little home screen that shows us what we need to do. We're not going to be using physical products, so we don't need to set up tax rates. But if you did want to sell physical and digital products or even integrate with tax rates, you could do that with one of their automated tools. The main thing that I want to set up with WooCommerce would be a payment gateway. So even though I have the functionality for a store, I don't have a payment gateway installed. So I'm going to install WooCommerce Stripe. As the sample gateway. Activate this. There we go. So we've done a lot on this website so far, and I'm surprised we only have 4 plugins. It's great to keep your plugin count down on your website, just to eliminate possibilities of slow websites crashing. So we can really unlock a lot of functionality with just a few plugins, and I think in this tutorial we'll only end up with 5. The only one we don't have is the Lifter WooCommerce integration. We haven't used that one yet. So we've installed our WooCommerce Stripe gateway, and let's actually show a little bit about what WooCommerce does. So we've installed WooCommerce. It sets up a store, but what does that even mean? If I navigate to the pages area in WordPress, we can see it's created a couple of extra pages that weren't here before. It just did this in the background. Created a cart page. It created a checkout page, which might be a little bit confusing because we have a LifterLMS checkout. We also have a checkout page. So this one's from WooCommerce, and this one's from LifterLMS. And so some users will delete this checkout page, but you will need this purchase page. We could rename it to like free enrollment. If you are doing any free enrollments, like I was in my example, we'll still need to have that LifterLMS checkout page in place so that those free access plans have a place to go. WooCommerce also adds a My Account page. Then WooCommerce also adds a refund and return policy. And I think that's it. Oh, shop page. Shop page as well, that's the big one. If I open the shop page, we can see no products were found matching your selection. Just like with the course catalog, when we didn't have any courses, there were no products matching our selection. And so in the backend of our WordPress website, we have WooCommerce, products, payments, analytics, marketing. We have a few new tabs here that weren't here before. And the products one is where I'll want to go to create a product. This will be, there's a little walkthrough tutorial about the different areas of a WooCommerce product, but they're pretty self-explanatory. Product name, product description. Down here we have our pricing options. And let me create a pricing option for my course. So I'm going to open my course in a new tab. It's just called course title. Let's change it to it's going to be called Will's Awesome Course. Update that. And then back over to WooCommerce. I'm going to create a product that matches my name, Will's Awesome Course. So we would add a product description about Will's course, and then we would set a pricing option for my course. I'm going to say it's a $100 course, but it's on sale for $90. You could do a schedule for the sale, but I'm just going to say $100 on sale for $90. I'm going to set this as a virtual product, and the virtual option here will basically mark WooCommerce orders. When WooCommerce's orders come in under WooCommerce orders, there's different order statuses. And so we'll select virtual because this is not a physical product. When people pay in WooCommerce, it changes the order status to processing. And processing is where the money has been collected, and now the WooCommerce store owner is going to need to package and ship whatever the product is. So if you're buying a physical product with WooCommerce, you have the processing order status, and then as a website owner, I would ship the product, and then I would set the order to be completed. But there's also, I think, another phase in there of WooCommerce order status. Let me just break this down a little bit more. I'm used to processing and completed, but I think there's another one. We've got processing completed, and then, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, the purpose of a virtual product is that it won't apply certain shipping rates. So with WooCommerce, you can set up shipping rates. We don't really need shipping rates on this website, but if you did have physical and digital products, physical products would be subject to shipping rates, so you would not check the box, but then virtual products would not be subject to shipping rates. And then I'm going to check the box for downloadable. I'm not going to include any downloadable files, but what this is going to do is set the order status to completed, because I don't want a bunch of processing orders in my order list here, because once people purchase with the Lifter WooCommerce extension, which we'll set up here in a few minutes, I don't want WooCommerce telling me, hey, you have an order, you have an order, you have an order, because students are going to purchase, they're going to be enrolled in the course, and there's nothing I need to do as a website admin, so I'm just going to select downloadable as well. This way, instead of having processing order status, it'll go right to completed. And so that's a way that we can just eliminate the hassle of going through. And the Lifter WooCommerce extension can enroll people anyway when there's a processing order status. So the order comes in, it's processing, enroll that user in a course. Good to go. But then as a WooCommerce store owner, you'll have a bunch of notifications that are telling you to fulfill these orders and complete these orders, but there's nothing to fulfill because the student's already enrolled. So I'm gonna go ahead and check virtual downloadable and publish my product. And then we'll check out the shop and see, there should be a product over here in the shop now. There it is. I didn't put a featured image on it, but it's starting to look pretty good. And as WooCommerce has put a few new items on my website for pages, I want to add those pages to my menu. So now we'll take a look at LifterLMS and Sky Pilot, or WooCommerce and Sky Pilot, by heading to the back end of my WordPress website. Under Appearance Editor, I want to add some of those key pages, because if we look in my other tab here, I'll close out some of my extra tabs. In my header, I have 4 options. See, yeah, home, course catalog, contact, and dashboard. And I want to add some new areas. I want to add the cart page. So let me open my list view, open navigation, and then we'll mess with the navigation a little bit. I'm going to go to the right side and add maybe a page link. This one would be cart page. I want to add the cart page to my menu. I also want to add, what else would be good? The shop page, that would be a good one. Shop page. Oh wait, it's got to be a page link. And then in page link, we look up shop. Let's reload. All right, there we go. So we've got our home, course catalog, contact, dashboard, cart, shop, take a free course. It's getting a little bit crowded on my header here, so let me change some settings to make it less crowded. The main setting I'm going to change is probably my site title. It's not a LifterLMS sandbox, it's Will's course website. Will's courses. There we go. Will's courses, that cleans things up a little bit. And we can start to see how a WordPress blog can transform with a theme that's built around LMS and e-commerce with the plugins, LifterLMS and WooCommerce. We're transforming a blogging platform like WordPress into an e-commerce platform, into an LMS platform by integrating a shop and a course catalog and some cool stuff like that. So let's keep bringing it together a little bit more. The shop page might come out there, goes like right there, maybe home, shop, course catalog, maybe course catalog, shop. dashboard. I think that looks pretty good. We'll save that for now. So now I've got some of those key pages in the menu. So if we have multiple courses, which I do, I have 4. I've got Will's Awesome Course, I've got course template. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that one in the trash. I don't need the course template. I'm gonna leave the LifterLMS Quick Start course, and then my lead magnet course, I'm gonna leave on my website as well. So let's say that my free course lead magnet, I'm gonna add a free access plan to it. If I go all the way to the bottom, free incident access, it looks like there's already a free option set up there. Let me view the course and make sure it looks good. Awesome, so I've got a free course lead magnet in my course catalog. I've got my LifterLMS Quick Start course. Let's make sure that has a payment option set up. On my site, that'll be a paid course, so I'll go to WooCommerce products, and I'll create a new product for the Quick Start course. So say, learn how to use LifterLMS. In the LifterLMS Quick Start course, this is going to be virtual and downloadable again. The regular price here is going to be $50. Publish that. And then go back to the front end of my website, take a look at my shop page. I don't have any pictures yet, but we can see it's starting to come together. We've got our Quick Start course. Let me edit my Quick Start course product again in my tab here, products, all products, and then edit on my Quick Start course. I already have a product image for this. Should be in my media library. There it is, LifterLMS Quick Start course. Update. And then let me pause the video real quick. I'll come back and get a picture for my Will's Awesome course and set that as my featured image. All right, so I found an image, and then I went ahead and opened a photo editor on my Mac and made one of the weirdest featured images I've ever made, Will's Awesome course. And that's okay because we're gonna go ahead and put that as the featured image of my product. Will's Awesome course, edit that, select product images from my media library. And I didn't really talk much about the media library, so if you're new to WordPress, the media library is where we store files that pertain to our website. Could be images for your courses, it could be PDFs, it could be a bunch of things. And in the media library, I'm not really doing optimal practices, but it's good to put in some alt text so people using screen readers can understand what the image is. So we'll say Will's course featured image. So that way, if a blind person's going through the website, they're using a screen reader, they could say, okay, this is Will's course featured image. That's what this is. That makes sense. And we could add a caption. And also for SEO reasons, you would want to change your title to say something like this, Will's Awesome course. And it's good for the file URL. You see my file URL is screenshot 2023, and it's got the date and the time I took the screenshot. You would want to change the name of your file before uploading it to WordPress so that it's SEO optimized. So if Google were to read the file name of your image, they would recognize it, okay, this is Will's Awesome course or whatever. And so maybe rename the files before you upload them to WordPress as a best practice, and also compress them. This is a 4 megabyte picture, which is huge. I didn't go to compress png.com or anything or scale my image down because 2000 by 1600 is way too big for a featured image. But usually you'd want to stick between 1200 by 800 or so, and that way you can have nice level of detail in your picture while also having a small enough file size to where it will load quickly. In this tutorial, I'm just like, here's an image for the tutorial to demonstrate how this works, but for real purposes, you'll want to compress your images, make them a little bit smaller, and then make sure to optimize the names of your images so that they'll rank well in Google. Just a little sidebar there. So now that I've set the featured image for my product, let's go back over to the shop. Hopefully we should see, there we go, Will's Awesome course. Another thing you'll want to do with images is create a standard for sizing. So I don't know how big this image is. I don't know, I could download it and look at it. But having a standard that you use the same size for all of your images is a good idea, so that it doesn't look like this, where you have one image that's bigger than the other one. So that's just one thing to think about when creating an image. If you're using a photo editing software like Canva or Photoshop, it's good to have those dimensions laid out in a template in your photo editing software so that you can modify it. I'm just taking screenshots of pictures from my iPhone. It's a scrappy way to put it together, but you can do it in a little more of an advanced way if you want to, where you have the templates and the uniform sizing and everything. Let's also set a featured image on my course. I'm going to edit the course because a course and a product are different post types, and we haven't linked them up yet, but we will. Over in the right sidebar, we should have featured image. Set my featured image and update. The featured image is what appears in the catalog. It's not done updating. It's going to update again. There it goes. All right, so in the course catalog, and of course in our template, it actually had an area to put our featured image, which is nice. And one mistake I made is I didn't put a way to get back to the home page. So a user doesn't actually have a way to get back to the home page from my course template. So let me go ahead and edit that. I'm going to click that edit site shortcut. And as we're building our website, as we're putting it together, as we're customizing our templates, we might realize some UX issues like that. There's no way for the user to go back to the home page from here. So I did want to remove my header, but I should also change my post template here to include some way to get back to the home page. So maybe what I'll do is a button. Something like this. Maybe return to dashboard page, student dashboard page I could do. But I'll just say return to home page. And for the URL on this button, a / will work. I could put a link to my website, but also a / will just take us back to the home page. That's a little tip. So if I reload my course, now that I've recognized there's a UX issue, fixed my UX issue, return to home page, we're back to the home page. There we go. So now I can navigate around. I can go to my student dashboard. I'm enrolled in Will's awesome course. It's a little bit squished, but then I can also get back to the home page. All right, so let's take a look at the next thing on the list to do. I've gone on a little bit of a detour with customizing my website, building out my dashboard page, creating a featured image for my course. When building an online course website with LifterLMS and WooCommerce, there's so much that you can get into around designing, and we haven't even really built out course content. We've just been building the structure of how the website works. So I've been going into some interesting rabbit holes, but hopefully it's helping you understand how this all kind of comes together with Lifter, WordPress, and WooCommerce, and Sky Pilot, the new Sky Pilot theme, and the full site editing framework, which is completely new in WordPress. So we installed the WooCommerce Stripe for an e-commerce engine, but we didn't really set up the payment system. So if I go to WooCommerce settings, we should have a payments area up here at the top. And this is where I installed that Stripe gateway, so I have all these Stripe options, and I really just want to activate the credit card option. I'm going to check that little box. It's going to load me into the Stripe Connect. And I'm not going to go through the whole process of setting up a Stripe account and connecting the test Stripe account. But you can go to stripe.com and sign up for a free Stripe account. They take 3% plus 30 cents off of every transaction or so. I think it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents. And that might change over time, but I think it's been that way for like the past 5 years or so. So that's a fee for using Stripe, is that every transaction you process through their system, they're going to take a little bit of a percentage of, but it's free to sign up and free to get started with, and PayPal's the same. Then if I create my account on stripe.com, I can just connect. It's going to have me log into Stripe and then connect my account, and Stripe connects with your bank in order to deposit money into your bank account. I think they hold your money for 2 weeks. The first time you sign up, they hold your money for about 2 weeks, and then you'll get it every 2 days or so after that. Check out stripe.com for some more information about how Stripe works, but this is the gateway that I chose to integrate with WooCommerce. But you can choose any gateway that you want to integrate with WooCommerce, and that should work as well. Stripe has a live mode and a test mode. So if you want to go into your Stripe account and find your 2 keys, you'll get a publishable key. It's like this long string of characters that you paste in here, and then a secret key. So you have 2 keys that you paste in, and then I don't think you usually need a webhook secret, but I think you can find it if you need it. Well, let me just save my test keys. It might give me some kind of error establishing a connection, but that's okay. For now, we should be fine without a payment gateway, but that's how you would set up the payment gateway with WooCommerce, is install any gateway that you want with WooCommerce. If we look up WooCommerce payment gateway options, we can take a look at the WooCommerce website for all the payment gateway options they have available. There's just absolutely a ton of them, and you can find one that works best for you in your region. And so I chose Stripe as an example, but there's a lot of options here and some great ways to find it. Any of these that work with WooCommerce will work with this setup. We just install it and then go to settings, payments, and then configure that gateway to work. And the next thing we'll need to do is install the LifterLMS WooCommerce integration. This is one I've been mentioning all tutorial, but this is really what brings it together. Is we've got our style from our Sky Pilot theme, we've got our course functionality from Lifter, and then our eCommerce functionality from WooCommerce, but there's not a way to say when somebody enrolls or purchases a WooCommerce product, enroll them in a LifterLMS course, and that's what we'll do now. So in the backend of WordPress, under LifterLMS add-ons and more, because earlier in the tutorial, I added my license key up here at the top, so I already have access to the WooCommerce extension with the Infinity Bundle key that I put in there. But if you don't have access to that, check out lifterlms.com or Google LifterLMS WooCommerce, and you'll find some resources about the LifterLMS WooCommerce integration and how you can pick that one up. So I've installed Lifter WooCommerce integration, was successfully installed. And you've seen this message all tutorial. I haven't mentioned it, but no Lifter payment gateway is currently enabled. That should go away once I activate this thing. Activate apply. Successfully activated. Awesome. So now that I have my WooCommerce installed and activated, I can visit the settings, LifterLMS settings, and we do have a tutorial specifically on setting up the LifterLMS WooCommerce integration if you want to check that out, but I'm going to go through those steps here as well. We're going to go to integrations. Up here at the top, LifterLMS settings integrations, and then WooCommerce. We can see it's installed and activated, but then I'll click to enable this integration, save changes. Just going to close that message about payment gateways because I have enabled the gateway, so I don't need that notification reminding me anymore. What does this say? Stripe is in test mode. That's okay. I didn't enter my API keys in the WooCommerce area, so that's fine. Let's review the WooCommerce settings for Lifter. So I enabled the gateway, and then this is order enrollment status. So customers will be enrolled when the WooCommerce order reaches this status. That's why I selected downloadable. I selected virtual and downloadable in my product area, if you remember that, because it'll automatically make my orders be completed. If you only checked virtual, what's going to happen is when someone purchases a product, their order is going to go into the processing status. And so if this says completed, LifterLMS is sitting here waiting for the order to be completed, but the order's in processing, and then you'll get an email from your student that says, hey, I purchased, but it's not enrolling me, and that's because their order is processing and it needs to be completed. You could just change this to processing to say when the order is processing, enroll them in the course. Or since I selected downloadable, I'm just going to say when the order is completed, enroll them in the course. So that should be good. Then order unenrollment status, if we happen to refund, cancel, or fail an order. If a student requests a refund, we process a refund. I want to unenroll them from a course or membership. Then some settings below here are about the WooCommerce subscriptions add-on. If you wanted to do recurring payments with WooCommerce, you do need the WooCommerce subscriptions product. In the LifterLMS Access Plan, I was showing $100 a month or $10 a month ongoing. LifterLMS has the features built in to do recurring payments, but WooCommerce doesn't. That's one disadvantage of using the WooCommerce setup, is that recurring payments require this third-party billed annually at $240 a year in order to do recurring payments. But if you do have that WooCommerce subscriptions set up, you could do subscription enrollment status. It would say when the subscription becomes active, enroll them in the course, and when the subscription becomes canceled, unenroll them from the course. And then My Account endpoints. When you use the LifterLMS WooCommerce setup, we're going to avoid using the dashboard page from Lifter and instead use the My Account page from WooCommerce. Let me go ahead and view this page. They serve very similar functions. When a user is logged out of the website, they display a login form, and when the user is logged in, it displays data pertaining to that user. And the Lifter WooCommerce extension adds some endpoints to the My Account page. My courses, my grades, memberships, achievements. My courses, my grades, memberships, achievements. So it takes LifterLMS items and puts them on the WooCommerce page. So you don't need to use the LifterLMS student dashboard because the WooCommerce page plus the Lifter WooCommerce extension will have everything that your students need. So what I'm going to do is go into my edit site area, and I'm going to switch out that menu item. I have the dashboard page in the menu, template parts, header, and then we'll edit the group with the, oh no, I'm in the wrong area. I want to edit the header with the navigation. I don't want the dashboard. Remove the dashboard. We're going to replace the dashboard instead with a page link, and the page link is going to be My Account. Why does it say page link? Let me remove that, try again. Page link, My Account. There we go. Page link, My Account, save. And so now if I reload on the front end of my website, we should have My Account as our dashboard page. And then I can go to my courses, and I should still be enrolled in that one course, Will's Awesome course. There we go. And then return to home page, has a nice flow to it. We can customize the My Account page a little bit. I have some videos out on YouTube about how you can customize the LifterLMS dashboard page. So if you look up how to customize LifterLMS dashboard or LifterLMS custom dashboard, we can remove endpoints. We can add shortcodes above and below the section. If we edit this page, we'll see that it's everything we see on page is generated from this single shortcode. So maybe I would want a more advanced layout to display my courses. So what I would do is get a shortcode block, and then I would go to LifterLMS docs shortcodes, or just Google LifterLMS shortcodes, and maybe I want to get a little more creative with how I do this. So I would get the courses shortcode as an interesting example. And where was my page? Bring my page over here. I end up opening way too many tabs when editing, so let me close some of those out. So we get the LifterLMS courses shortcode, and these are some options for the shortcode. I want to say mine equals enrolled. So we say mine equals enrolled, just like this, mine equals enrolled. And then I'll finish my shortcode. This way it's going to show courses that I'm enrolled in, right up there at the top. So I could create this layout. So I've got courses up here at the top, and then I've got my orders information down here at the bottom. And I could maybe create some more custom looks for this if I wanted to use a page builder like Elementor or Divi or Beaver Builder or WP Block Builder. There's all kinds of page builders you could use, and these shortcodes would work in those builders. Or I could continue to edit with the WordPress block editor, maybe by adding a columns layout with a background color. I could maybe add some custom CSS, or I could use something like Spectra or Cadence blocks in order to add functionality to the WordPress editor as just a way to do like sliders and stuff like that, where I could embed blocks in some interesting ways. The WordPress editor out of the box, I'd encourage you to explore what blocks are available and what ways you might want to customize your dashboard. And there are some interesting ways that you can do that with Lifter. Let's check the next thing we'd want to do. We got the WooCommerce extension installed. And I think the last thing that we'll do, we'll tidy up the website a little bit at the end, but we'll show how to test a paid enrollment with WooCommerce and Stripe in test mode. But before we do that, I realize there's one critical piece that I missed in covering, and that is under courses. When we edit our course and set our payment options, we've installed our WooCommerce, we've installed our Lifter, but we need to connect them together with our payment gateway. So for this one-time payment link, I've created my product, it's $50. And so now when I create an access plan on my course, instead of having options for $10 a month or $10 one-time payment, I have WooCommerce product as an option to select one of my WooCommerce products that says when someone purchases this product, enroll them in this course. I'm going to go ahead and remove my second option because in this case we only have that one-time payment. And so that's what brings it together, is where people will view our course page, they'll see the option for the WooCommerce product to sign up. If I view as a visitor, one-time payment, we've got our sale. So it's pulling in the data from WooCommerce into my LifterLMS area. So that's the cool thing about integration and companies that provide integrations between tools, is that this data is coming from WooCommerce, but it's being pulled into the LifterLMS side of things. So when I say join now, instead of taking me to a Lifter purchase page, it says Will's course has been added to your cart. And if I wanted to redirect people to the cart when an item is added to the cart, conveniently, that's a WooCommerce setting. If I go to settings and dig around for a minute, I'll probably find it. I think it's products, when product is added to cart. Yep, redirect to the cart page after successful addition. Save changes. And then let me view my cart. I'm going to remove the item from my cart. And then go back to my course catalog. Will's Awesome Course. View as a visitor. And hopefully I should get redirected to the cart this time, now that I turned on that setting. Awesome, so I got redirected to the cart. I am getting a warning that says I'm already enrolled in the course, because it's not going to let me buy it again since it knows I'm already enrolled in the course, but a logged out user shouldn't get that message. Another setting I want to turn on while I'm in the backend here at WooCommerce settings is accounts and privacy. So WooCommerce settings, accounts and privacy. There's this checkbox that says allow customers to place orders without an account. I don't want to allow customers to place orders without an account. I do want to allow customers to log into an existing account during checkout, and I do want to allow customers to create an account during checkout. And so we'll automatically generate a username for them. Send a user to set their password. I want them to set their password on checkout page, so I'm going to uncheck that box. So this is a really important configuration for these settings. And in our LifterLMS WooCommerce setup tutorial, I go into that in a little bit more depth. But these are important to check because if someone placed a WooCommerce order for a course and they didn't create an account on our website, LifterLMS is going to be like, what user do we give this course to? Because they didn't create an account, who's getting enrolled into the course. So we have to force them to create an account in order to say, okay, this is the user on the website who has access to this course. So that way the LifterLMS reporting and the enrollment process can do everything that it needs to do to track the grades and the enrollments and the quizzes and the completion and the logins and everything that LifterLMS is trying to do. So we have those settings configured pretty well, and let's jump to my homepage and see if we can purchase the test product or if there's anything else we need to do. So people come to my website, we'll add some content to entice them to want to sign up for one of my courses. They'll visit my course catalog, they'll say, hey, I want to join this course. It's going to redirect me to the cart with the course included inside of it. Proceed to checkout. This is all looking pretty good with the Sky Pilot theme, really nice and clean. And I wanted to scroll down to the bottom. It seems there's no payment methods available for your state. Please contact us to make arrangements. So let's take a look at what that means. In the back end of WooCommerce settings, I didn't configure my Stripe gateway with test mode, so a test transaction probably isn't going to work there. So if I go to payments, rather, let me make sure. Yeah, so since this isn't connected, I'm not going to be able to process that test payment. Let me create a coupon for myself. Marketing coupons in WooCommerce is where we can create a coupon in order to give users 20% off, 10% off, or in my case, I want to do 100% off. My coupon code is going to be 100. This is going to be a percentage discount of 100%. Publish that. And this way, I can go to my website in an incognito window, and you may notice me going back and forth between my regular Google Chrome window and incognito, because incognito lets me view the website as somebody who's logged out and just see what the users are going to see when they're interacting with my website. Go through the process again. I want to join the course. I have 2 of these in my cart. I only want 1. Update cart. Coupon code is 100. Subtotal. Applied successfully. And then let's scroll to the bottom. Yeah, I shouldn't have to put in payment information since I have 100% off. And we have our billing information fields. So we'll say test. So we're just going to run a quick test here. My account password. And then that's perfect. So we want them to create an account password and their email. They'll need to remember these 2 items to log into their account, because this is where they'll log in again. If they leave your website, come back and want to take some more courses later, that's where they'll do that. Awesome, so we have course enrollment success. That's a great message to see. We placed our WooCommerce order. We've got our order details, our order number and everything. Then if I go to my account, I'm enrolled in Will's awesome course. And I can go ahead and get started. There we go. That is awesome. So I didn't link up my second course, my quick start course. We have the 3 courses, the free one, this one's paid, and then this one is also paid. So I would make sure to come in and link up my second paid course here. Start Strong is not free. It's a part of the quick start course product. Save that. Give it a couple rounds to update. It's doing a lot of advanced stuff in the background here to make sure that everything's updated. And then I should see Start Strong, $50. That's being pulled in from WooCommerce. That's perfect. And then back to my homepage. I can edit my site if I want to edit some of the headers or footers or anything like that. But I can also come into my homepage, which I just put some starter text on here and I didn't really come back to editing it. And I can put in a pattern. I could use maybe a call to action. Something like that looks, ooh, that looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to start going nuts in the block editor. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I don't need that one at the bottom. We'll remove this image. I think that looks pretty good. So schedule a visit. I'll customize that here in a second. But I like to come in here and just throw some patterns on my homepage. Makes it easier to design things when we have some templates to work with. So posts, this is going to be like a list of my blog posts. I don't want that. Maybe I'd put in like a testimonial. Not right now. Let's see. Banners. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. So let's see what kind of, maybe this one. That looks fine. So yeah, let me go back to my list view. We've got a cool cover block. Move that cover block up to the top. Got our home page. Maybe I'd replace this image with something in my media library. Will's awesome course is probably the one I want to promote. It's putting it in black and white. That's part of this duotone thing, I think. Yeah. So that's, you can go nuts with the editing. But this is where, as a WordPress user, you'd want to explore the options for the blocks and what you want to put together. We see a lot of people use page builders like Elementor or Divi, but you can do a lot with this WordPress block editor, so I'd encourage you to check it out and see what you can build with it. And I'm installing some pre-made patterns, but you can see cover block, group block, spacer. This is a heading block. And so all of these blocks are available in WordPress out of the box, but these are some pre-made layouts that make it easier to get a head start. Learn to use WordPress. Maybe learn to use is not, it's too long. So we'll say learn WordPress, and then we'll say join the free course, and then we'll say enroll now. There we go. So enroll now, that looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like on the front end of the site. Home, it doesn't look as good. Let's see how I can fix that. This block is, I want it to go side to side, like it's side to side right here. And so I want to figure out how I can make it go side to side on my front end as well. Let's investigate a little bit as to what's going on here. Let's update that. Go back and forth a little bit. See if we can make this thing full width. It might be something on the template level. That's what I'm suspecting, because we have our page home. So that's the template we're using. Let me edit my site real quick. Go to templates, and then I think home is one of my templates, page home. Edit this. Check out the spacing on my post content. Inner blocks use content width. I wonder if, let me just turn these off real quick. If that's what I'm looking for, if I want this to be turned off. No, so it's gonna send my home over there. That's progress. We sent the home item, and then this is our footer. So post content, save. So I'm turning off those inner blocks use content width items. Okay, there we go. That's looking a little bit better. I don't want it to say home though. So what I would do in my template is back over to my template, clicking around pretty fast, but post title, I don't want post title on the home page. So we can remove that group, save that. Back to the front end of my website, reload, hopefully home goes away. There it goes. I want this image to be centered, so I'm going to go back to where I was editing my home page. And here, can I do none align center? It doesn't make a change on the back end because it's already a small page. But if I open my home page in a new tab, now it's center aligned, learn WordPress, join the free course, enroll now. Okay, so the free course is not this one. The free course was the free course lead magnet one I had on here. And I didn't fill out this course content, but this is where we would have people join that free course. So in my enroll now button, we would link the button to the free course page, update that. So now my home page has a link to my free course sign up. Okay, that's pretty good. So we say enroll now in the free course. And this course, I would come in Lifter, and I would design this one up to be maybe, if I'm building a WordPress website, a website about how to learn WordPress, I would add a description. I would follow this template that Chris laid out about letting your students know they're in the right place. This is the best place to be to learn WordPress and Lifter. And then I would go through this template and switch it out with the content that I am going to be giving to my students. I'll skip that for now, but there we go. So we got our home page, and then take the free course. I put the wrong free course in the header. That the course I put in the header is paid, so let me change my link in my template parts header, edit the header, edit the button. That's not the right course. That's the right course. So I edited my header back up to the front end of WordPress. I'm getting a little bit faster with it now that we've explored these areas before. So you can enroll now in the free course, or you can take the free course from the header. So we got 2 calls to action to get people into my free course lead magnet, which I should put my own content in. But then hopefully once they take that free course, we would get them to upsell to the Will's Awesome course for $100, or they could take the Quick Start course for $50. And at the end of my free course, I should probably also put something like a call to action. So the call to action lesson would be maybe a button that says sign up for my paid course now. Let me say sign up for the full program. This is the full program I want them to sign up for. Let's put that link in the button. Update my lesson. View my lesson, make sure it looks good. I love how the LifterLMS Sky Pilot theme, out of the box, it looks pretty good. Like, I haven't really been doing much design work on this website. I just installed a pattern, set up a button. I didn't mess around with my footer at all, but we talked in the beginning as to how you would change the options in your footer if you wanted to do that. But I've built a full website now, transformed a blog website into a LifterLMS free course website. You take the free course. At the end of my free course, you do the call to action of signing up for the full program. You sign up for the full program by paying with WooCommerce if you're a visitor. And let's test it one last time as someone who's completely logged out, and I think we should be good. The UX is looking pretty good on my side, but let's make sure it works for others as well. So I'm on the home page, looking pretty good. I want to join the free course. Sign me up. I think I was already enrolled because I had my other incognito window open. So I enroll in the free course, and then I get started with the free course. I go through all the lessons, I mark them all as complete. I end up here on this last lesson. I click sign up for the full program, and I think I already paid for this program. Yeah, I already paid for this program, but then this is where that pricing box was, where it says, hey, $90 takes us to our WooCommerce cart. We fill out that purchase link, put in our credit card once I connect my website to Stripe, and then I'm enrolled. So that's a lot. That's a lot we covered in this tutorial. Let me know in the comments below any questions you have, anything else you want to see about LifterLMS Sky Pilot WooCommerce. This was a sample of a full website build video where we dove into a lot of stuff about how to set up a contact form, a home page, a catalog, create a course, connect that course to WooCommerce, set up our WooCommerce store. We really covered from start to finish building the website functionality-wise. And if you want to drill into any other specific functionality around LifterLMS, like I mentioned, check out our YouTube channel where we discuss more complex and interesting things about the course builder, where you can do your quizzes, where you can do assignments, you can make certain lessons free. A lot of features were left not discussed in this video, just in the interest of keeping it under or around about 2 hours. But check out our YouTube channel for some more stuff, and let me know in the comments below this video what other content you want to see from LifterLMS, or if you had any questions about certain items in this video. The technology with Sky Pilot is new and constantly evolving, so you might see this tutorial 6 months or a year from now, and certain items might look a little bit different, but they'll have the same general premise about how they work. But my name is Will Middleton from LifterLMS. Thanks for joining me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.